G'day, legends. Today we're going to be talking about the topic of is the Bitcoin 4 year cycle broken or altered? This came about as I actually had it questioned on one of my videos recently, and I wrote out a response. I put the response out, and then I wrote to the person at the end I might make a video on it, and then they even agreed that they would like to see that. So here's the question, and it was from Cameron Pirrett. Thanks for the video. Most things are pointing to a Bitcoin top in October. Do you agree? I'm a little nervous that the top is in, but I'm going to hold and hope. Do I think the top is in? No. Am I 100% sure? You can never be 100% sure because Bitcoin and crypto does whatever it wants. But we've got to look at the indicators. No indicators are pointing to a top. There's actually, and I will dig it out for people, there's some thing where you can look up and there's something like, I can't remember the number, it's like 17 indicators that point to the top, and you've got to tick all those boxes. And once all those boxes are ticked, basically you've had the top and you're going to head down. And as of so far, I believe none of them are ticked. So I will look at what that is up and put it out. Just not today because I just thought I'd get this out before I head off to work in my second job. All right, so that was the first one. It was his question. Now, I then made a video, a little short, like 20 seconds, and put it out this morning, just asking what people thought, and I will look to see if we have it. I know I had at least one response. I'll hope it doesn't start playing. There we go. I'm not fully convinced it's broken, but rather altered, and I like this take. I think we will still move in cycles, but with the timelines shifted. All right, and so that was Young Pistachio. Thanks for replying to my video. He's a very, very dedicated replier, actually. He replies to most videos as a new subscriber, which I really appreciate. So thank you for that. All right, so I've been on and I've got my notes. So I've put it down so that I don't forget, because obviously when you're putting forward an argument, you've got to actually remember what what you want to write. All right, so Bitcoin topping. A lot of people are saying it because now that's what the good old 4 year cycle tells us. But honestly, I reckon the cycle's cooked, as the kids say. I'll tell you why. All right. First thing we'll address is, will we see a top? I believe the answer is yes. Will we see a top in September, November? Yes, I believe we will. But will it be the top? I'm not convinced of that. See, because of all the people, the 4 year cycle believers, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because all the people believe it, they're going to buy up into it, all the retail, and then they're going to sell. Anyone that's been in a long time that believes the 4 year cycle will sell then. So the price will drop. All right? But who's going to be on the other side of the drop? Institutions. So institutions have changed the game. Back in the day, it was just us degenerates punting on halving cycles. Now we've got the big dogs in: BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, ETF buying, billions a week. Bloody well billions of it, right? And you think they're sitting around waiting for the halving meme to tell us when it's time to sell? No, they're not, mate. What I reckon happens is retail sees the chart topping. They remember the good old cycle playbook. They dump their bags, and the big dogs are laughing down there, scooping it up. That's exactly what I think will happen, because the thing's starting to move differently. Macro actually runs the show now, was another thing I was thinking about. I remember the end of the last bull market when I knew it was over, when I knew we were right over too. We had the Russia-Ukraine war start, and that was a black swan. And Bitcoin, she dumped. I went from 69 to like 45 in like 2 days. At the time, that was huge. and I bought it there because I went, oh yeah, it's not. I was going on a time scale. I still thought we had another month. I was dead wrong. And then after that, when did I really know? Interest rates started getting put up in America, and I knew that that was the end of the liquidity flowing into the economy for the period. Um, so macro, yeah. So it's the big one. Bitcoin's not living in its own bubble anymore. It's tied to a global liquidity. You've got quantitative tightening, as I've just talked about, quantitative easing, and even the M2 money supply, which it's now starting to correlate to. It seems to run about 90 days behind from what I've heard. We are right now at the end of quantitative tightening. We haven't even stopped tightening yet. Technically, we are still in a tightening phase. Once the Americans drop their interest rates, quantitative easing should start. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that is the starting point. That just means they stop tightening. So the fact that we've got institutions buying, ETF inflows are per day, more Bitcoin is bought than is actually produced by the miners. And that's just amazing in itself. I don't want to lose my train of thought because I just want to keep this one short and sweet. Yeah, so where was I up to? When the money's cheap and flowing, Bitcoin rips. I remember that from last time. You know, we had the COVID handouts in Australia, and people were just running out to buy things, which is obviously the idea of money and what the idea of it being handed out was. But people were running out and they were spending it on TVs and buying up whatever they needed to buy. And some of it flowed into Bitcoin, and I can attest to that because I know I put some of the handout I got into Bitcoin or into a crypto. So, you know, it flows in there. So when the money is cheap, Bitcoin rips. When liquidity tightens up, Bitcoin struggles. So the halving, yeah, it still matters, but it's it's nowhere near as big as the deal as compared to the trillions of liquidity sloshing around in the system. And last but not least, this is one I like, the composite man. Now, the composite man is made up of the other people out there, the big dogs that don't want you to win. All right, I've got a basically the idea is it's the big smart operator in the market, right? He knows exactly what you're thinking. He knows what the herd is waiting for. He knows the herd's waiting for the 4-year cycle to top. So what does he do? He lets you sell. He lets you feel smart, and then he buys it off of you cheap and keeps sending it higher afterwards. And then you get FOMO and think that you missed out and rebuy back in. In today's market, that composite man, that's BlackRock and the big institutions, they don't care about October tops. They're playing the long game. They are waiting for it to hit $1 million. They are waiting for Michael Saylor's predictions to come true. They don't care if it's 10 years. They don't care if it's 15, 4, whatever. Doesn't matter to them. They will buy and then they will dump it at some stage, but it won't be in the next 2 months, I don't think. Well, not for all of it anyway. Right, so yeah, to me, the 4-year cycle is broken or altered. It doesn't mean that we won't have a correction. It doesn't mean it won't be scary moments. But I don't reckon October is the final top. The bull run ends when the interest rates stop going down and start to come back the other way. Or we cop a proper black swan event. Until then, it's game on. Not financial advice, just this Bogan's opinions. Tell me what you reckon. And I'll put this last point in there. We can argue all we want about this. I'm happy to talk to people about it. But until after the fact, we're not actually going to know. So until 2-3 months from now, and we can start looking back, we can't actually tell whether we're right or wrong. So you need to prepare either way. I will be prepared either way. I will make money either way. Because as we go up into this next peak that I believe is coming, I will be taking some profits. I just won't take all of my money out. And if I'm wrong, some of my money stays in and goes down. And I still have the money on the side to prepare for the next bull market. If I'm right, some of my money's come out, the rest of my money in crypto goes up, and then I can rebuy at nice pullback spots. Either way, I have a plan. And that's all you need to do. So we don't need to get nasty and argue about things necessarily. We can talk about it. You can give me your point of views, give me ideas. And just to point out to people that about the 4-year cycle being broken, it's already got points in it that are different to the 2 prior. And to point out that it's not even really confirmed as a 4-year cycle because things have to happen in 3. We're literally only on the 3rd one now. So if this one breaks, it was never actually really there. This one we had an all-time high before the halving. That has never happened in the other 2 prior cycles. And we've had months and months of consolidation after new all-time highs. So we have an all-time high, and then we have consolidation for a large amount of time before another all-time high. In the previous cycles, it was all-time high, little drop back, and then hit that point again, and then just that was it. And we were done, and it was in short periods of time. This time has already been different in 2 different ways that I can count. That's as high as I can count. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope I haven't been overbearing on my thoughts, but I hope you at least think about it. Have a great day. Do something nice for someone else. Crypto Bogan out.